And to some of the stories that you sent in, let's start with this video showing a rickety vehicle driving on the road, which our eyewitness reporter describes as the Badagry Expressway here in Lagos State. According to our eyewitness, this vehicle was smuggled in. He wonders how such illegal activities go unabated on this road in spite of the number of security operatives stationed there. He's asking for improved surveillance. Next is this set of images from Benin, Edo State, showing the poor state of the road, which our eyewitness reporter describes as a Kuwa road. It also shows a transformer, which he says is no longer functioning. He's calling on the state government to look in their direction to alleviate the stress residents go through. Well, finally, in case you missed the sight of the lunar eclipse, otherwise called blood moon, on Friday, well, here it is. Channels Television's correspondent sent this in from Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital. According to her, this was what the sky looked like in the town at about 9:40 p.m. on Friday. Well, many thanks for sending in the stories. We also love to hear from you. And remember to add your contacts so we can reach you to follow up on any of your eyewitness stories. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo says the Nigerian tech ecosystem is already benefiting from his recent trip to the global tech headquarters, Silicon Valley. Professor Osinbajo also added that the ecosystem will soon be flooded with more investments and collaboration from global tech players. He was speaking in an exclusive interview with our technology correspondent, Victor Matthias, at an event in Lagos.
We've seen some of the results. Today, Google announced its Google Station, the announcement of Google Station being available now at the Murtala Muhamed Airport, at the Computer Village, and a few other public spaces. And one of the important things for us also is the launch of Google Station in the markets. And we've been talking about this and how to get this done so that in the various markets, in some of our large markets, here in Lagos, in Sabongari, in Kano, in Ariaria, in Aba, and various places, we can actually have Google Station. In other words, free internet availability and connectivity, so that people in some of these large areas where there is a lot of activity, a lot of commercial activity, a lot of work, can actually access the internet easily and free. My going around the hubs is important, first of all, in letting a lot of our young people and entrepreneurs know that government is actually interested in ensuring that whatever it is that they require, we're able to provide, and that we have their back on all the innovation and tech. But more importantly also, we're putting our money, as they say, where our mouth is. Aside from setting up government-supported innovation hubs, we're also supporting innovation. The BOI is putting together a fund of about 10 billion. There's a down payment already of 2 billion naira, which is really our tech fund, and we intend to continue to increase that fund.
Interview with Vice President Osinbajo. Please watch Channels Beam on Monday, 30th July 2018 at 2:30 p.m. on Channels Television. The Nigerian Navy ship NNS Victory has arrested and paraded a vessel, Femina, laden with about 773,472 litres of suspected AGO, the equivalent of 3 trucks illegally transferred from a Delta State lifting point and headed for Ikotabasi in Akwa Ibom State. This, according to the commander, NNS Victory, is part of the Nigerian Navy's commitment towards consolidating the efforts of the federal government in curbing the menace of illegal bunkering, refining and sales of petroleum products.
MV Femina was nominated to pick product, do what they call ship-to-ship transfer from somewhere in Delta State to bring the product, AGO to be specific, to a tank farm in Jubilee at Ikotabasi. That operation was supposed to commence on the 19th of April, but the Femina went on the 17th, picked product from another vessel illegally.
The recent burst by the Nigerian customs of a container filled with ammunition in Niger State and the call by the Cross River State governor over infiltration of the country by illegal migrants from Cameroon are signs that the seeming ease with which foreign bandits make their way into the country is a growing concern for security agencies here. Well, in this report, our correspondent Orewoluwa Shonibare examines the problem of Nigeria's porous borders.
429 kilometers, 266 miles, 4 hours by road. That's the approximated distance between West African neighbors Cross River State in Nigeria's south-south and Cameroon. The distance on water is much shorter, estimated to be between 30 minutes to 1 hour. With the proximity, it is expected that there should be an opportunity for positive things to thrive, from trade to tourism. But this appears not to be the case, going by this alarm raised by the Cross River State governor.
Until Cross Riverians get to know that perhaps 80% of the issues we are dealing with is a result of the war, but just by our boundary. The southern Cameroonian guerrilla warfare, which is basically the Amazonians trying to secede out of Cameroon. And because of that, they come into Nigeria, smuggle goods in, like rice, like all the various products they have in Cameroon, bring them in, sell in, acquire arms, recruit our own sons and daughters, send them back to Cameroon to fight, and those people become militarized. That definitely, this is an international issue, completely outside the scope of the governor of the state.
This revelation is further buttressed by the Nigerian Navy, who have made series of arrests on the seas of men suspected to be mainly of Cameroonian heritage, aided by some Nigerians to carry out the smuggling racket.
It took us 2.5 days to offload the rice. It was coming from Cameroon. It's a total ban. So what we have done is not out of place. We have only accosted and arrested people involved in economic sabotage. And that's what we have done. And we are going to continue.
The Cross River Cameroon border is not the only suspect when it comes to border crimes. Military authorities have in the past blamed foreigners from Mali and Niger Republic for some of the criminalities perpetrated in the northern region.
Smuggling, by definition, is illegal. There are better businesses to carry on in town. You can imagine now that they are arrested, the items are gone, and they'll be prosecuted in the court of law. So where's your again about it?
The ECOWAS and AU conventions allow for free movements of citizens across the region and continent. But when such problems impede on a country's security, then that calls for concern. And that's why many believe that the onus of keeping the country's borders safe lies strictly with the country's security agencies. Orewoluwa Shonibare, Channels Television News.
And to take a closer look at the prevalence of border crimes, we're now joined from our Abuja studios by a migration expert, Mr. Osita Osimene. Welcome to the News at 10. And let's start with the first question. What is your assessment of Nigeria's borders right now? Are they secure? Can we say they are?
Yeah, thank you and good evening. Yeah, Nigerian borders, from the look of things, there are a lot of lapses because considering the challenges Nigerians are facing now as a receiving nation to the issues of irregular migration, people coming in from Niger, from Cameroon as a result of war and as a result of economic migrants, we found out that the borders are not really, the security agencies at the borders are not really living up to expectations. And also, not just the security agencies at the border, even the internal securities. There is no synergy between the internal security and the border security. The border is so porous and is a very big challenge. It has caused a lot of damages to this country in the recent times.
The federal government says it is using technology to monitor Nigeria's borders, but has also in the past blamed state governors perhaps for poor governance, which is contributing to the insecurity. What do you make of this?
Yeah, for the issue of using technology to monitor the borders, I see that as not too efficient for now, because what we are having every day now, as people leaving the other countries, their countries, to come into Nigeria and being used to cause mayhem and insurgency in the country, is so alarming. And also Nigerians also going out, trying to aid crime in other countries is so alarming. So if the federal government is saying that they are using technology to monitor borders, I don't know where that is coming from. And I think they have not done well in that aspect, and there should be an improvement and ensuring that the border security in terms of technology is looked into and also enhanced in a way that when people come into this country, they're being checkmated, and there should be a check. There should be a kind of connectivity between the border security and the internal security. Because when people come in, there should be a way of alerting the security in the country that there are so number of people who have come in. Yes, we know that there's what they call a free movement protocol, but that does not mean that when you are coming into a country that you are not going to be properly checked. For example, some of us have traveled to African countries like Ghana, Togo, Benin Republic. You don't just go in there like that. They still have a way of checking you as a country that is coming in, even if you are African country, West African countries, and there is a free movement. So Nigeria should step up by ensuring that there are modalities, in as much as the technology system, to me, is not working properly. So we should look for a way to enhance it and ensure that the idea of the technology is being spread across all the borders. We have a lot of borders across this country, over 150 borders. And before you and I, these borders are porous. You have in the southwest, you have the Seme border and the Diroko border. In the north, you have the Ilila border, you have the Jibia border. Name them. So these borders need to be enhanced security-wise, and if possible, the technology should also be enhanced.
We also share certain conventions, ECOWAS countries, for example, and then the African Union on the other hand, but is it helping? It's almost as if these activities have become more sophisticated.
Yeah, the convention, there's nothing wrong in the convention or the protocol. There's nothing wrong. It's just all we need to do is to ensure efficiency in our method of operation in terms of security. There's nothing wrong if there is free movement of trade, free movement of persons. I don't see anything wrong in that. If people are made to be orderly in a country where they are country of entry or country of destination, there's nothing wrong. When a border is porous and the internal security is also weak, a lot of things could happen. Arms could be brought in, and arms could be taken out. So if the protocols are there and the security of a country is properly managed, and they are efficient, I don't think we'll have problem with all these protocols and the conventions. So the conventions are okay. It's not a challenge. All the challenge we have is that our security agencies, both at the border and internal security, need to sit up and step up their operations.
Thank you, migration expert, Mr. Osita Osemene, for talking to us on the news at 10.